All right, guys. So it's not good enough for us to just get a Robert Eggers Christmas Carol movie starring Willem Dafoe, but we've also got another one coming up here. This article by John Squires over at Bloody Disgusting has a headline that reads, Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol. Ty West directing Dickens' Tale with Johnny Depp as Scrooge. So, man, a couple heavy-hitting directors and great castings for Scrooge. I mean, obviously, there's a big age disparity, a gap between Dafoe and Depp, but I think they're both really capable of playing this character in a fantastic way and a different kind of way, I think, too. So I am curious about that. And I think Ty West and Robert Eggers, they're two of the best, younger directors out there working. And I think they're pretty different. So this is great. This is good news for people who like, Gothic tales, fans of Charles Dickens. Fans of Charles Dickens will like Ty West's Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol. And just fans of people who like, like Christmas horror. I mean, A Christmas Carol is the original Christmas horror story. So let's read into this article, or, just read the article, and then we can read into what we think it says. But before we jump in, I'm curious to know whether you're watching in the live chat or you're watching after the fact. Jump into the comments. Let me know your favorite iteration of A Christmas Carol, whether it's, George C. Scott, or it's, the Scrooged with Bill Murray, or maybe it's the Jim Carrey version or the Guy Pearce version. Whatever it is, let me know your favorite. And of course, give me your thoughts on, how you think that this version could shake out with Johnny Depp jumping on in and given his turn as Scrooge. So let's go ahead and check this one out. I think, what is this picture from, like Secret Window or something like that? That's what it looks like. Oh, there it is. It says Secret Window right below. If only I would scroll down further. All right, the article says, while Robert Eggers plans his own dark take on A Christmas Carol starring Willem Dafoe, Deadline reports that Ty West is taking his own crack at the classic tale. Johnny Depp will reportedly play Ebenezer Scrooge in Ty West's Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol, with Andrea Riseborough also attached to star in the film. Paramount will release the film in theaters on November 13th, 2026. So I think a year before, because I think the Eggers Christmas Carol is going to be 2027, unless it's his next movie. I don't know. I could be totally spun around on that. So let me know in the live chat or in the comments. I could be wrong about that. The article continues by saying, Deadline details in their report this afternoon, quote, this version, a thrilling ghost story set in Dickensian London, follows one man's supernatural journey to face his past, present, and future and fight for a second chance. Stephen Deuters and Jason Foreman to executive produce. And Nathaniel Halpern wrote this adaptation for Ty West to direct. And then, we've got, I guess I should have waited for the article once again to just rattle off. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. If they are, we'll just, Alistair Sim, like that's a very famous one there. Albert Finney, of course, George C. Scott, Bill Murray. Oh, Michael Caine from the Muppet Christmas Carol. Michael Caine is great. And then we've got the aforementioned Jim Carrey there as well. Now, the article closes out by saying, A Christmas Carol is classically a period-piece ghost story. As Louise H.C. wrote here on Bloody Disgusting, quote, isn't it weird how the single most influential piece of Christmas-related media is technically a horror story? One can even make the argument that Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol paved the way for the rise of Victorian spiritualism during the following decade. And it is a curious thing. It's really cool. I don't know. I think it's kind of badass that Christmas horror goes back to one of the most celebrated authors of all time and one of the most celebrated pieces of work of all time. And then we've got this really cool shot of the, Ghost of Christmas Future, aka Death, aka the Grim Reaper. This must be from the Guy Pearce version, I would imagine. But let's go ahead and scroll back up to Johnny Depp's face there as we talk about this. So, like I said, I think Ty West is great. I love that that X trilogy is awesome. Innkeepers, The House of the Devil, all that stuff. And I'm kind of in the spot where this is one of those stories where I'm interested in checking out all of these iterations. the story of Scrooge, you know, the redemption story is just, it's one of those that I always want to watch at least one version of this story every Christmas. And I think it really does like encapsulate the Christmas spirit, you know, like what Bill Murray's character says, Frank Cross says in Scrooged, is that it's, you know, it's Christmas Eve, it's never too late. So like this like hopefulness, you know, I'm getting tingles all over my body just thinking about it, because I think it's a really hopeful, sweet story. And yeah, I think with Eggers doing one with Dafoe, I think that's going to be like chillingly awesome. And I'm very curious to see what Johnny Depp does here with Ty West, because, you know, Depp's been through, I mean, talk about the darkness he's been through in his personal life over the last handful of years. And now that he's, you know, coming out of that darkness and, you know, returning to perform in front of the camera, I'm really interested to see what he's got, because I think he's one of the most talented actors of his generation. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm curious to know what you guys think. So if you're in the live chat, let me know your thoughts. If you're watching after the fact, jump on into the comments, give me your thoughts down there. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share the channel with someone who you think would dig this kind of content. You could even hit that hype button, and that would, you know, just spread it out all over there. We're covering horror news all the time here on the channel, movies, TV shows, you know, video games, books, comics, whatever, as long as it piques our interest or tickles our fancy, we're going to cover it right here. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing.